Hey everybody, Robert here again from RJL 518. Another exciting game here to close the night out. I'm actually pretty tired, but I did promise I would do another Fall Classic game. So this is Fall Classic Baseball. This is Exhibition Game 7. Today's date is April 19th, 1986. If my 1969 season shows up tomorrow, this will be the last game from 86 we'll do for now. Philadelphia Phillies taking on the New York Mets at Shea Stadium. The Mets won this game 3-2. It was Rawley versus Dwight Gooden in this game. So we're about to give Fall Classic Baseball another shot. As I said, so far I'm enjoying the game immensely. There's so much you can do with this game. It is very, very versatile. The charts are active. If you play it by the charts, it's actually very easy to use by the charts. And of course, if you use the fast action cards, all right, it's even easier. I will be rolling as ID Jester joins us here at Shea Stadium. So I will be using the dice to roll, and the cards will be to resolve the play if I need to use the cards. So we got Dwight Gooden pitching for the Mets. Let's take a look and see what his bullpen session will be. And he will be an A, and that makes Gooden makes him even tougher. So Dwight Gooden will be an A pitcher. So we'll see what happens in this game. Let's start it up. Top of the first inning here is Gary Reedus. He is in left field. This is not a presentation. This is just more exhibition as I continue to try to get the rules down. And that is a 14, and that is an out. And that will be a fly out to center. I was actually almost thinking of using the chart, the out when with the bases empty. I was thinking of using the chart with the bases empty and then only drawing a card, okay, if there's runners on base. Just using the bases empty chart. I don't know. Here's Milt Thompson. He is in center field for this game. Pitch on the way, 64, blank on Thompson. Gooden, that is an out. And that's a fly out to left field. Still have not used the cards numbers. I still prefer rolling dice. Here's Von Hayes. He's at first base. Good to see ID Jester. I'm still waiting for let's see. Well, let's do this here. 63. That's a blank on Hayes' card, and Gooden has his first strikeout of the game. 1, 2, 3 inning for Dr. K. You get any new seasons in for any games yet? Well, you already know that I have all 27 seasons of Payoff pitch. I just ordered 2017 of Inside Pitch. That's already been shipped to me. I'll get that before the week is out. I only need 2018 and 2019 for Inside Pitch. Of course, he may release 2020. Chris Davis may release 2020 this month, maybe, and maybe some extra new seasons. As far as Fall Classic, my 1969 season was shipped last week. I should see that probably tomorrow, according to Track. I will order the 1919 season next from Fall Classic, as I'm going to go back to a little dead ball era. And I want to play the 1919 World Series. Rawley pitches for the Phillies. The last time I had Rawley, he was also an A pitcher for the Phillies, but he got bombed. So let's see how well he does today. And he is a C pitcher, so that could be a difficult day for Rawley. Mets had a little strange lineup today. Kevin Mitchell actually leads off, not Dykstra or anything like that. And Kevin Mitchell was in center field for this game. As Philip Reynolds says, go Reds, beat Cubs, in his silly aspect. Pitch from Mitchell, that is a 64. Rawley, that's a blank, and that's going to be an out, and it will be a line out to second base. I'll go with the white die on that, which I usually do. So that's out number 1. Here is Tim Tuffle. He's at second, of course. And that is a 56. And on Rawley's card, that's going to be a strikeout if it's a 1 to 10. It is a 10. Tuffle goes down on strikes. First strikeout for Rawley. Out number 2. Rawley only had 73 strikeouts, was not really a strikeout pitcher. Next batter, first baseman Keith Hernandez. Rawley's pitch, 44. Hernandez gets a single. He'll go to first. Base hit for Keith. And here is Gary Carter, the kid. If you ever see Gary Carter's son, he looks just like his dad. Looks just like his dad, guys. I saw his son. I couldn't believe how much like his father he looked. I said to myself, as I looked up into heaven, I said, Gary, you can't deny him. Pitch to Carter, and that is a 41, and that's going to be a walk. As usually you have walks at the 41, and that is now runners at first and second. Next up is Darryl Strawberry. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Pitch is 56. That's a blank on Strawberry's card. On Rawley's card, that's a strikeout, 1 to 10. That's an 11. It's still an out. And that's a fly out to right, and the inning will end there. No runs and hits for the Mets. No score at the end of 1. We go to the top of the second. Here is the Michael Jack Schmidt. Gooden will pitch to him, 64, blank on Schmidt's card. That's going to be an out on Gooden's card, and it's a ground out to third. Out number 1. Here's Glenn Wilson. He is at right field for this game. Pitch on the way, 12. That's an out. And that will be a ground out to the shortstop. Out number 2. Catching for the Phillies in this game was Darren Daulton. 24, and that's going to be a hit by pitch of 1 to 4, and that is a 3. Dwight Gooden doesn't give any adjusted, so he does hit Daulton. So Gooden plunks Daulton in the butt, and Daulton will trot to first on a hit batter. Puts a runner on base. Here is Luis Aguayo. He is at second for this game. 2 outs. And we got a 45 blank on Aguayo's card, and on Gooden's card, that will be an out. And it's again a ground out to the shortstop. No runs, a plunked batter, and that's it. Bottom of the second coming up. No score. Shane Rawley leading off for the Mets will be Ray Knight. He is at third. I meant to say Gary Carter was the catcher. Gary Carter actually is not the catcher in this game. He is in left field. I'm sorry. He is in left field for that game. As I said, the lineup was a little weird in this matchup. 55 for Knight. That is going to be a hit. That is a 13, and that's a leadoff single for Knight. So the Mets get a base runner. And now we'll see the catcher, and that is Barry Lyons. Now, bad news about Fall Classic Baseball. Not every player is carded automatically. When you receive a printed set, not every player is carded. That is bad news. Good news, you still receive the PDF anyway, and you get every player in the PDF. I had no problem printing out Barry Lyons and using him for the game. I usually only print out players if they're in the starting lineup. If they are not, I will not usually put them in there. Same thing for inside pitch when I did that. And, no, I have no problem putting a player out if I need him. And Barry Lyons was the starting catcher for this game. He only had 9 at-bats for the Mets in 86. So he does get to hit here. So you still get every player in the lineup in the PDF. That's fine. I can live with that. It would be nice if they still did what Payoff Pitch does. Payoff Pitch cards everybody. Joe Bryan cards everybody. But if you can't card everybody and you want to just go ahead and bring a PDF for players that you'll probably rarely ever use unless you're doing a full season replay, fine by me. I'm not going to hold that against Fall Classic. That's why I said bad news, it's not carded. Good news, you get the player. It's not like Stratomatic where, well, you don't get the player at all unless you have the Stratomatic computer game. Ain't that right, ID Jester? Tell us all the good things about Stratomatic, ID Jester. I'm pretty sure you got lots of good things to say about them. Here's the pitch from Lions. And that is a 51. That's a KD chart. So let's see here. That's an 11. Rawley is a C pitcher, is a 1. There's no play there, so we go to the exotic. And it's a first base exotic chart. Okay. So let's get it. Let's see. First baseman exotic chart. First of all, is it an error? The ball is hit to Von Hayes. The ball is hit to Von Hayes. His error rating is an 11. That is an 11. We got an error. So let's see. First baseman exotic chart. And we got a runner on first base. Real bad throw to second base by the first baseman. Runner to third. He scores if left fielder makes bad throw home. So we know that Ray Knight goes to third. And we know that Lyons is on first. And it says here, let's see here, he scores if left fielder makes bad throw home. Roll D20 versus E rating. So that is the left fielder, and that is Gary Redus. His error rating is a 6. I don't know. I could probably just still keep the same roll, but I don't know. We can probably do it. It says roll D20, so let's do it. And that is a 3, and yeah, it is. How about that? Makes bad throw home versus the E rating. Gary Redus is a 6. That's a 3. And after throw, batter to third. So, yep, we have a bad throw to second base by the first baseman. And Ray Knight will score, and Barry Lyons will go to third on that error. So we got 2 errors in this one play. How about that? How about that? 1-0 Mets on 2 errors. So that goes down as an E. That's an E3, and it was left field, and an E7, which will allow Lyons to go to third, and Knight will score. So it's 1-0 Mets on 2 errors on that play. And Barry Lyons is on at third, and here's Santana. And Shane Rawley takes a look at Von Hayes, then looks over to Gary Redus and has a look on his face like, really, guys? Really? Really? Santana will go ahead and pitch. Well, Rawley will pitch. 25, that is an out. It's a ground out to the shortstop, and it's going to say Barry Lyons is going to score. Score 6-3. So Barry Lyons will come in. He will score. So he actually did something in this game. Santana's out, though, so that is 1 out. But it's now 2-0 Mets. As that was the first out. So that's what an exotic error can do to you. And it puts the Mets up 2-0. The Mets originally won this game 3-2, and it was the Mets that actually committed 2 errors in this game. So that is 2 errors on the Phillies. I mean, I know. Maybe I could have used the original die roll. I don't know. Maybe I could have just kept the original die roll and didn't have to roll it again. I don't know. Either way, I guess would have worked. Here's the pitcher, Dwight Gooden. Gooden batted 086 as a pitcher that year in 86. 16, that's a strikeout. And that is strikeout number 2 for Rawley. 2 outs. And here's Kevin Mitchell. Bob's Tabletop Sports joins us here at Shea Stadium as well. Captain Carl 8 is here as well. I got a good crew there in the chat. Pitch to Mitchell. 34 blank on Rawley's card. 34 is a single. He is a C pitcher in this game, so Mitchell gets a base hit. He'll go to first, and it brings up Tuffle. Still 2 outs. Pitch from Rawley. 54 again that's on the 54 chart. And that means we got a men on base wild pitch. Refer to wild pitcher's rating, and if 4 falls in, Shane Rawley's one wild pitch rating is a 1-4. And it says if it's a 4, it is a wild pitch. So the Phillies are not having a good inning. Rawley throws it away, and that is a 1-4. Now, question is that a passed ball? Darren Dalton, let's have a look. Dalton's passed ball rating is 1-3. Is 1-3, so I believe, and that is a 4, so it is higher than the pass ball rating. So I believe that is a wild pitch on Shane Rawley, and that's how I'm going to mark it. Wild pitch on Rawley. I'll check that. I'm pretty sure I was right, but I'll look. Let me see here. I think that's a. Let's see here. So we want to actually score. If the D20 roll and 54 chart is in the PB range, it's a fastball. Okay, so it was a 4, so it's not. So it is a wild pitch on Shane Rawley. We get to do it again. Pitch to Tuffle, 16, and that's an out. That is an out, and it will be a ground out to short, and that will do it. Mets get 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 errors, and lead 2-0 at the end of 2. Well, the 1986 Phillies weren't that good that year, so maybe I could see why. Top of inning number 3 in this exhibition game. Leading off for the Phillies is Steve Jeltz. He is the shortstop. Pitch is a 41, and Gooden, that's a walk. That's a walk on Gooden's card anyway, even though he's an A pitcher. And Jeltz will trot to first, so he walks the leadoff batter. That will bring up Shane Rawley. He'll go ahead and sacrifice. So let's see. Let's do the bunt. So let's see. Is the bunt put down? That is a 3. The answer is yes, and that ball is hit. That's bunted to first base. That's bunted to first base, and that is Hernandez, and he's got a strong arm. So he actually it takes 1 away from the bunt rating on the second roll. So it's got to be a 1-4 for it to be a good sacrifice, and it is. As I'm using that optional rule to try it out, Jeltz will go to second, but Rawley is out for out number 1. And that is an SH3. All right, top of the order. Here's Ritas, who made that error out there. Bet you won't have as many runs in this game as ID Jester had in his last game. What one was that? The 1953 World Series you had there? The 53 World Series between Brooklyn and the Yankees? Is that the game we was talking about? Here's the pitch to Ritas. That's a 23. That's a strikeout. And that is strikeout number 2 for the doctor. 2 outs. And now Milt Thompson. Pitch from Gooden. 33. Thompson. That is a 3, and it is a single for Thompson. It's a base hit. Thompson gets a base hit. Let's see what it says. Second to home, weak arm advance. Base hit to left field, weak arm advance. average arm or strong arm, you risk it. Jelts, let's see, the ball is at the left, and that is Gary Carter. He actually has an average arm. Jelts, if you risked it, would be a 1-3, I believe, on a risk. That'd be a 1-3. So let's see, 2 outs. Let's see, weak arm advance. So Thompson gets the base hit. Von Hayes do the bat. I'm gonna have Jelts hold. He will not risk it. He'll stay at third and let Von Hayes try to get the run in. Gary Carter's in left field out there, and he actually has an average arm, so he stays put. Game 4, I'll check it out. If it was a lot of runs, I would like to see that. So 2 outs. Here's Von Hayes. Runners at first and third. Gooden in a little bit of a jam here. That is a 62, and that's a strikeout. He gets Hayes. Strikeout number 3 for Gooden, so no runs. There was 1 hit, and that was it. Still 2-0 Mets. These cards are slippery, but they feel good in the hand. Probably should have sent him. All right. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Leading off for the Mets is Hernandez. That's a 15, and that's an out. That's a fly out to right. In a way, the thing about it, with the way these cards are set up with all these numbers and stuff, you almost don't even have to shuffle the cards. You could probably go through the deck straight through, because if you're rolling dice, you don't need to worry about these numbers. You could just go through the deck straight through it. Really, you don't have to shuffle these at all. You can keep that deck shuffled for 3 or 4 games. Because I also did order the other fast action cards as well. I ordered all remaining sets. So, I got set number 2 on the way. I'll order set number 3 with the 1919 season. If I'm going to be a completist, I get everything that they offer. Here's Carter. He is in left field for this game. Pitch from Rawley, 36. That's a blank on Carter's card. 36 is a single for Rawley, because Rawley is a C pitcher, and Carter goes to first. Second time Carter's reached base. Here is the straw. Pitch to the strawberry. 14. I already know that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Rawley. 2 outs. Pretty much for Darryl Strawberry, when you see a 13 to a 23, you pretty much know it is done. Because Strawberry either strikes out or it's a home run. Here's Ray Knight. Knight singled his last time up. He's 1 for 1. 2 outs, though. 32 for Knight. That is a blank. Shane Rawley, C pitcher. Oh, he's out of there. How about that? That's a ground out to short. Inning ends. No runs and a hit. Still 2-0 Mets. The game does flow very well. I'll admit that. It flows very well. Flows almost like payoff pitch. Flows almost like payoff pitch. Top of the 4th. The Michael Jack Schmidt will bat. He's 0 for 1. 51, and that's going to be a KD chart. That's 11. That is not a strikeout, so we go to the chart. And it's a possible error to the shortstop. The ball is hit to Santana. His error rating is a 5. That's an 11. Not a problem. Santana picks it up, throws to first, out number 1. As there's no need to re-roll the die. I've heard you could use the same roll. It doesn't matter. Don't have to re-roll. Here is Glenn Wilson with 1 out. Gooden's pitch, 22. That's going to be a single for Wilson. Base hit. Second hit off of the doctor. Wilson on it first. He'll hold there. We'll bring up Darren Dalton. Pitch from the doctor, 35. That's a blank on Dalton's card, and that is going to be an out on Gooden's card, and that is a ground out to short, a runner on first, fielder's choice at second base, so Wilson is out at second, and Dalton is safe at first. 2 outs. Just like that. Here is Luis Aguayo. Pitch from the doctor. 56, blank on Aguayo's card, and that is a strikeout on Dwight Gooden's card. And that is strikeout number 4 for the doctor. And that's the inning. No runs and a hit for the Phils. Still 2-0 favor of the Mets. Dwight Gooden still had 200 strikeouts in 1986. He was not the same pitcher in 86 than he was in 85. Only because Mel Stottlemyre tried to teach Gooden another pitch, and in my opinion, that ruined Gooden right then and there. Should have just left Miles Stottlemyre. I don't care what he was thinking, and I read the book of The Bad Guys Won, and he was 100% wrong. Gooden should have just thrown heat. That's it. Just let him throw heat, and the occasional curve, and that's all, and the slider. Tried to teach him a changeup, and it blew him away. Bottom of the 4th inning, who leads off? Okay, that would be Barry Lyons. Lyons, 33, and that's an out. And that's a fly out to right. So Lyons actually got on base with an error, but not this time, so that's out number 1. I just printed it on paper. I didn't print it on card or anything like that. But it goes into the Mets pack. Here's Rafael Santana. 61. That is going on Rawley's card. That's an out. And we will have a fly out to right. Pitcher is Dwight Gooden. 43. And that's an out as well on his card. And that's a fly out to center. 3 straight flyouts given up by Rawley. 1, 2, 3. And it is still 2-0 Mets. See, now Rawley is a C pitcher, and he's actually pitching better in this game than he did when he was an A pitcher. And you know what? That's fine. That is fine. I can live with that. I can live with that rule. Top of inning number 5. Here is Steve Jeltz for the Phillies. If my 1969 season doesn't come in, I'll have another 86 game, and it is again against these Phillies. This is the second game of that series at Shea Stadium against the Phils. Pitch from Gooden, 13. That is an out on Jeltz's card. It's a fly out to center. Here is Shane Rawley. 56, blank on Rawley's card, and that is a strikeout. Strikeout number 5 for the doctor. He is my favorite all-time Mets player. Here's Gary Redus with 2 outs. Dwight Gooden is my favorite all-time Mets player. As much as a lot of people say, why not Tom Seaver? It says I was too young to really see Seaver pitch the way I could appreciate, unfortunately. Dwight Gooden, when I was watching him in 85, in 84, 85, and 86, I said, I just love the guy. Would have been a Hall of Famer if it wasn't for the juice. Wasn't for the crap. He would be in the Hall. He would have had a Hall of Fame career. Here's the pitch to Redus. That's a 34. Blank on Redus's card. Gooden, that is an out. And that is another fly out to left field. And a 1-2-3 inning. Still 2-0 in favor of the Mets. Leading off for the Mets is Kevin Mitchell. Pitch on the way, 12. That's an out. And it will be a ground out to third. Out number 1. Jeez. Here's Tim Tuffle. It's late. Tim Tuffle will bat. 1 away. Pitch from Rawley, 45. Blank on Tuffle's card. And that is an out on Rawley's card. That's a ground out to third as well. Out number 2. And here is Keith Hernandez. Pitch from Rawley, 13. That's a walk on Hernandez's card. He'll trot down to first. He draws a base on balls. Not too shabby. Second time Hernandez has been on base. And now we'll see if Gary Carter can bring him in. Pitch on the way, 24. Hit by pitch, 1-7. 15. Nope. Not happening, even though Shane Rawley is a -2, so it's a 1-5. That's going to be an out, and it will be a ground out to second, and that will end the inning. A walk is all they get. Still 2-0 in favor of the Mets, as this game is moving along pretty nicely. Top of inning number 6. Here's Milt Thompson. 41. That's going to be a walk. As it seems that 41 is a walk on almost every pitcher's card, I guess. So Thompson will go to first. Leadoff walk given up by Gooden. And here's Von Hayes. Hayes is struck out twice. Pitch on the way, 65. That's a home run possibility. Gooden is an A pitcher, 1-4. That is a 6. It is not a home run. That will be an out, and it will be a ground out to the pitcher. Milt Thompson says fielder with a runner on first. Fielder's choice at second. If refer to white die original roll, if die number is a 1, runner advances. It is not. It's a 5. So Gooden gets it, throws to second, and that is out number 1. And it's a fielder's choice. I think I did that right. Here is the Michael Jack Schmidt. Pitch from Gooden, 16. That's an out, and it's an out X. If it's a ground ball, it's a double play, and that is a ground out to the shortstop. That's exactly what it is. 6-4-3, inning over. Nothing across except a walk. Still 2-0 Mets. On an out X, it is an automatic double play if it's a ground out. Bottom of the 6th inning. Let's see what we got here. Here is Darryl Strawberry. Bears Den joins us here at Shea Stadium. Strawberry 0 for 2. And that is a 34. It's a blank. Rawley's card is on a C. Pitcher is a single. Strawberry gets a base hit. Leadoff hit for the Straw. Next batter is Ray Knight. Knight's 1 for 2. Strawberry on it first. Pitch on the way. 54. That's a 54 chart. That's a possible wild pitch. And that is a refer to wild pitch rating. And if 5 falls in the range, it is runner's advance. It is a 1 to, Rawley is a 1 to 4. So there is no wild pitch. So we re-roll again. So we'll re-roll again. And that is a 32. Rain Knight is a blank. Shane Rawley is an out, and I'll just flip the card that I just used, and that'll be a fly out to right. Fly out to right, and of course, Strawberry stays at first. That's out number 1. Next up is Barry Lyons. Strawberry on it first. And that is a 15, and that's a strikeout. Probably the best thing Lyons could do. And that is strikeout number 4 for Rawley, 2 outs. And now Rafael Santana. Ray Knight. Barry Lyons only had the 9 at-bats for the Mets in 1986. He didn't go to anybody else in the 86 season. Barry Lyons had 9 at-bats for the Mets, and then he was done. Here's the pitch to Santana. 42. And on Rawley's card, that's going to be a walk. He walks Santana. Runners at first and second now. And that will bring up Dwight Gooden. And yes, I'll have him bat. 2 outs. Pitch from Rawley. 52. That's a defense check. That is a 20. That's not going to be that 20 is probably going to be not a strikeout or an error. But let's roll, but we'll pick it anyway. 52. Ball hit to shortstop. That is Jeltz. His error rating is a 7. That was a 20. That won't be a problem. And he is going to throw to second to get Santana and end the inning. So that is a ground out to short. So no runs, a hit for the Mets. Still 2-0 in favor of the Metropolitans. Top of inning number 7. Leading off for the Fightin' Phils is Wilson. Wilson is 1 for 2. That's a 51. That's also going to be a strikeout chance. The 15 is too high. We'll pick we'll pick the card. That's a ball hit to short. That ball is hit to Santana. His error rating is a 5. I'll use the same die roll. 15. No error. He'll throw to first. Out number 1. I was told I could do that. I mean, I don't think it really matters. Although the thing about it, though, is that, well, I guess it may cut the errors down, I guess. But you never know where the ball was hit, though. That's out number 1. And here's Darren Dalton. Gooden with the pitch. 24. Hit by pitch 1 to 4. And Gooden adds nothing. That's a 0. And I believe, let's see here. I always think about the hit by pitch. Let's see here. Yeah, no, it's an out. It's not a hit by pitch, so it is an out, and it's a fly out to center. And that's out number 2. Here is Luis Aguayo. Pitch from Aguayo, 36, a blank. Gooden, that is an out. And it will be a pop out to the shortstop. Actually be a 6. Yeah, it's a pop out to the shortstop, and the inning will end there. 1, 2, 3 for the doctor. Still 2-0 favor of the Mets. As Dwight Gooden is actually pitching like an A pitcher in this game. But then again, Rawley as a C pitcher has only given up 2 runs. And he's only given up 5 hits. So as a C pitcher, Rawley is actually still pitching pretty well himself. He's only given up, since his bullpen rating was a C, he's still actually pitching pretty well in this game. He's only given up 2 runs on 5 hits, and both those runs were unearned because they were errors. So actually, he's given up no runs because they were both unearned. Let's see. Kevin Mitchell leads off for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th. Rawley will pitch. This will probably be his last inning. He's due to bat second. 13 for Mitchell. That is an out. And it'll be a fly out to center. Out number 1 for Tim Tuffle. 62, blank on Tuffle. Rawley's card, 62. That is an out. It's a fly out to center. And now we will see Keith Hernandez. Hernandez is 1 for 2. Rawley with the pitch, 54. That's off the 54 chart. It's a bases empty wild. Fly ball, center field, roll for error rating for an error. Ball is at the center, and that is Thompson. His error rating is a 3. That is a 4. There's not going to be an error. So that's just a fly out to center, and the inning is over. 3 straight flyouts to Milt Thompson. And that will end the inning. At the end of 7, still 2-0 Mets. Top of the 8th inning, here's Steve Jeltz. He'll lead off for the Phillies. And that is Suadice. That is Suadice. I'll re-roll. 23 on Jeltz's card. That's a strikeout. And that is strikeout number 6 for the doctor. Out number 1. Pinch hitter coming in for Shane Rawley. He is done, although he pitched a very good game. So we'll see a new pitcher. It is the 8th inning, so I got to do it by at-bats. It will be John Russell. Russell will pinch hit against Gooden. 32, blank, Gooden, 32. That is an out as an A pitcher. And that will be a pop out to the catcher. I'll take the white die roll, pop out to the catcher. As Barry Lyons makes the catch, out number 2. And here's Gary Reedus. Reedus is 0 for 3. Pitch on the way, 14. That is going to be an out. And it is getting from the right side. That is a ground out to short. And the inning will end there. 1, 2, 3, go the Phils. Still 2-0 in favor of the Metropolitans. Let's see, 2 rights and a left. Right, left, right coming up for the Mets. Gary Carter leads off. Phillies need a pitcher, probably bring in a right-hander. And they'll go with Kent Tekulve. Let's see what he's going to be. And that is a 5. Tekulve's going to be an A. Kent Tekulve will be an A pitcher, so he could be a little bit difficult to get through. We'll see what happens. The Mets still have a 2-0 lead because of the errors. Gary Carter leads off. 63 on Tekulve's card. That is an out. And it's a ground out to short. Next up is the Strawberry. He's 1 for 3. And that is 53. That's a KD chart. Strikeout rating is a 1-4 on Kovey. That's a 19. It is not a strikeout. And it's 51. And that is a 53. I'm sorry, that's defense. And that is a possible hit to center field. That's hit to center. That is Thompson. His range is an 11. That's a 19. That's above his range. That's going to be a single for Strawberry. Strawberry gets a base hit on the off the KD chart. Second hit of the game for Strawberry as Thompson couldn't make the play. See if the Mets can get insurance runs. Here is Ray Knight. $56. That's a blank on Knight's card to Kovey. 56. That's a strikeout. That's out number 2. And the Mets will have Barry Lyons come up to bat. And that is a 14, and that is an out. And against the right, and he's batting right, that's a ground out to third. No runs and a hit. It's still 2-0 Mets after 8. Brandon Baker joins us here at Shea Stadium. As we now go to the top of the 9th, will we see some 9th inning magic? Dwight Gooden has pitched to 28 batters. His batter rating, his BFS is 34. He's going to stay out there and try to finish this game. Milt Thompson leads off. Met bullpen is ready to go. Gooden's going to try to see if he can finish this game out. Thompson 1 for 2. And that is a 23, and that's a strikeout. And that is strikeout number 7 for Gooden. Next batter, Von Hayes. Mets originally won this game 3-2. There were 13 hits in the game originally. We're way under that. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. But then again, Dwight Gooden's A rating might have made a difference in that. So here's Von Hayes. Pitch on, 64. That's a blank on Gooden's card. That is an out. And against, he is batting from the left side. That's a ground out to first. Two outs. And the last chance standing between Dwight Gooden and a 2-hit shutout is the Michael Jack Schmidt. Two outs, 2-0. Gooden working on a shutout. But the Michael Jack Schmidt looking to break it up. Tim Pepper joins us. Don't worry about it. Catch the replay. Here's the pitch. It's a 54. It's off the 54 chart. It's off the 54 chart. Strike 3 if catcher range rating G as he frames the pitch. Ball 4 if the catcher range rating B. Home end gets strike 3. Away end gets ball 4. Well, Barry Lyons is the catcher, and his range is an N. So home end gets strike, and I'll show it to you here, as I had to print his card out. So his range is an N. So home end gets strike 3. So Barry Lyons frames the pitch, and Michael Schmidt is struck out. And that ends the game. Dwight Gooden struck him out. How about that? Barry Lyons, so I had to print this card out to use him in this game. And he gets him. That is strikeout number 8 for Gooden. And that is the game. The Mets shut out the Phillies 2-0. Dwight Gooden was he pitched a gem. But so did Shane Rawley. And Rawley was a C pitcher. Shane Rawley was a C pitcher. What hurt Rawley was the errors. There were 2 big errors in the second inning on the Phillies, which allowed the Mets to get the runs. Rawley didn't give up any runs. They were both unearned. Let's get a final line score here. For the Mets, 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. For the Phillies, no runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors. Dwight Gooden does get the win, and Shane Rawley takes a hard luck loss. That wasn't his fault at all. So I've now played a total of 7, and now my Mets, I'm now 5-2 with the Mets in these in the 7 exhibition games that I had. And actually, at this time of the year, early in the season, this was actually the start of a 10-game winning streak for the Mets early in the year. They were actually they were in the middle of a 10-game winning streak in 1986. So what do I think? I'll tell you, Dwight Gooden pitching as an A, I really felt the way Gooden was pitching, I really felt he was really pitching like he normally would pitch. I'll be honest with you guys. Dwight Gooden in payoff pitch baseball, for 1985 Dwight Gooden, I don't know. He always seems to get shelled. 1985 Dwight Gooden for the Mets in inside pitch. I'll tell you, he had some issues in a couple of games too. I don't know. I mean, he had a 1.53 ERA in 1985. Now, I know this is 1986, but still. But here, in this game for Gooden, in 86, he actually pitched like the Dwight Gooden of 1985 that I know. He was almost unhittable in this game. He really was. There were only 2 hits, and that's all they got. He did hit a batter. He gave up 2 walks, struck out 8. And that was all. I mean, Dwight Gooden pitched beautifully in this matchup. You know, he pitched beautifully here. As an A pitcher, he was tough. And Shane Rawley for the Phillies, was a C pitcher, and yet he only gave up 6 hits. I'm sorry, he gave up 5 hits. He gave up 5 hits. He gave up 5 hits, and the 2 runs he gave up were unearned. They were on an errors. There were 2 errors. So Shane Rawley was a C pitcher, and yet he pitched a very good game himself. That's why I say it's a hard luck loss for Rawley and the Phillies in this game against Gooden. The next game in the schedule for 1986, that was against the Phillies as well for April 20th. The Mets won that game 8-0, and that was Kevin Gross versus Sid Fernandez. But if the 69 season comes in tomorrow, then we're going to switch to 69, and we'll probably start with the 2 games against the Cubs and the Black Cat series. I like to play that series with Black Cat and see how that goes. I'll do the first game with Jerry Koosman, and then the second game with Seaver with the Mets. So overall, I mean, for some reason, the pitching really felt like that was Gooden on the mound. And Shane Rawley, it felt like Rawley was just having a good day, even though he had a bad day out of the bullpen. But I tell you, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I know ID Jester. I don't have to ask ID Jester's opinion. We already know it. It's his number 2 game on his list. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, I still got to play a lot more games. I mean, I played over 100 inside pitch games and maybe over 150 payoff pitch games. So now I can definitely say, I mean, I know those games by heart. But fall classic. I mean, there's just so much you can do with this. And I'm really thinking the next time I play, when the bases are empty, I won't use the deck. I'll just use the bases empty chart and the D20 roll. And if there's runners on base, then I'll use the deck for the out or something. That might make it a little bit more interesting, I guess. And maybe randomize the outs a little bit better. I don't know. You recommended this game back to me in the early fall. You kept telling us 50-50. Glad you learned how cool it is. Well, Brandon, you like this game, but for one main reason, it's got the 1990 season. Plus tons of seasons, as I just said. Okay, it's got 100. They got 103 seasons, 1908, and then 1919 all the way to 2020. And I'm going to be ordering 1919 as my third season. When the 69 season comes in, but it has the 1990 season. I know for a fact that if Payoff Pitch releases 1990 or Inside Pitch releases 1990, you're going to be one of the first people to order that season. I know you will. So, but yes, this game is cool. It is cool. I thought it was 50-50, and I was wrong on that. I thought it was 50-50. It's more like APA. Well, the first roll makes it APA, but then if the batter's card is a blank, it turns into Inside Pitch. So, the first roll, when you roll it, it's APA. So the first roll, is APA. So 26. So there it's off the batter's card like a single, right? But you roll again, let's say 24, hit by pitch. But let's say it's around here, 31, that's a blank. Well, if it's a blank, then it goes to the pitcher card. Well, now this game turns from APA into Inside Pitch. And then, of course, the pitcher grades, okay, how good they are, turns it a little bit into Payoff Pitch, depending if the pitcher threw a tough pitch or a patient pitch or wheelhouse, And then, of course, some of the D20, the splits, of course, make it Stratomatic. And there is a little bit of pine tar in here, too. There's a little bit of pine tar, depending on like the wild pitch thing here, where because Barry Lyons had an N as a range, he framed the pitch at home since the Mets were home and won the game. There's a little bit of history maker baseball in there, too, because of that. I'm not a fan of charts either. See, the thing about APA, you absolutely have to use the charts. Maybe you can memorize them, but APA, you have to have the charts. In this game, you don't. You got those. And if you want it, you have these. I just had an exotic error earlier, Brandon. You missed it. I had an exotic error. It was an exotic error that brought the 2 runs in for the Mets. It was an exotic error that brought the 2 runs in. You'll have to check the replay. So, yeah, I've had exotic error already. I do like the layout of the cards. They're easy to read. The font is not that small. I wish the ballpark cards were a little bit more flashier, kind of like the Inside Pitch cards, but that's all right. You notice we didn't have any. You notice also we didn't have any off the ballpark cards. A single 66 wasn't rolled. So, it sometimes does depend on what happens. But I'm happy with the game so far, and I'm going to do some more playing with it. So tomorrow I'll do the Phillies and the Mets 86, or if 69 comes in, I'll do 69 Cubs at Mets. And then when I get the 1919 season, I want to play the entire Chicago White Sox Cincinnati Reds World Series. I still think the White Sox would beat that team. Yeah, I like the defense sheets too. You can make the game as easy as you want. You can use the quick outs charts if you want and all that stuff. Like I said, I can use the bases empty chart. If I want. If I want to. I can just I can use this chart when there's nobody on base. So it says, okay, we roll. It is a 34. That's going to be an 34 is an out. It's an 8, and that's a fly out to center. No problem. But when I got a runner on base, all right, then I can draw the card and say, okay, it's a ground out. It's a ground out to second base. Runner advances to second or something like that. I mean, I could do it that way. That would save the draw. I wouldn't be drawing that many cards. I'd probably draw no more than maybe this much, and that's it. And could probably not even have to shuffle the deck at all. Could just run through the deck. I don't know. Many ways to do it. Many ways to do it. And of course, shuffling a deck, all right, does wear and tear on the deck. It actually does wear and tear on the cards when you shuffle. So if you don't shuffle a deck so much, it'll save wear and tear. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe next time I'll try it that way. Brandon Baker, Tim Pepper, Bears Den 007, Bob's Tabletop Sports, ID Jester, Philip Reynolds, Captain Carl 8. Thanks for joining me, guys. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. We got Inside Pitch tomorrow. We got the Chicago White Sox and the San Diego Padres. We got that game tomorrow. We have the California Angels against the Oakland Athletics in Payoff pitch tomorrow night as well. So join me then tomorrow. I'm going to bed. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart, stay strong, and stay out of trouble. Take care, everyone. Good night.